Backcountry skiing combines hiking and climbing and requires remote and undeveloped areas that receive a consistent amount of snowfall during the winter. Not things one would waste time looking for in Southern California. But should they?
We're here at Disneyland, and it's
And thousands of residents in Lake Arrowhead snowed in this weekend due to the unprecedented storm.
Also snowed in is Eyewitness News reporter Shayla Gerardin. She is live.
Winter 2023 didn't just arrive in SoCal, it buried SoCal. The amount of historic lines that for years had been dry and were all of a sudden buried in not just feet, but tens of feet of snow was staggering. As the historic storms pummeled the mountains, many of us were just waiting for things to settle enough to get out there. Of course, like any large-scale weather event, there was also tragedy.
The California National Guard has arrived, bringing resources and manpower to help dig out trapped residents.
Victims across the area report roofs collapsing under the unbearable weight of several feet of snow. And we know that some people hiked miles just to get to a local gas station for food and supplies.
Big Bear, SoCal's main ski town, was completely snowed in and cut off. You can just imagine what a nightmare that was. A town mostly of rentals, full of people only prepared for a weekend, and then consider that those people were from LA and OC, some of the most unprepared people on the planet for any sort of weather, and you have a disaster. As news of Big Bear's plight spread, another video surfaced of an avalanche in Palm Springs of all places. A small town in the desert that in most people's minds has never even seen snow. The media loved it, and the hype grew. A few days later, we ended up here. And then it grew more. Now, most people rallied around the closure. However, this closure was huge. This closure also seemed to have the tone of, the outdoors is too dangerous for you, and you can't handle it. Well, a quick call to the local National Forest Service office, and in fact, FEMA had actually made forest closure a condition of releasing funds for the Big Bear response. Not a conspiracy to end outdoor access, but at the end of the day, we did have truly amazing conditions, but it was now illegal to venture into it. My solution? Look a little further south.
We just had even more snowfall down here in Southern California. So essentially, what I thought would be a month where I was going to head up to the Sierra Nevada, there's kind of no point because we've got so much fun stuff down here. Now, the really frustrating thing is they did a blanket closure of the national forest up where the Much Better Mountains are in Southern California. So unfortunately, all of that stuff is off limits, and it looks like it's going to be off limits through when the epic conditions are going to start to deteriorate. But anyway, what we're going to do instead is go on a novelty tour down here in San Diego. It's definitely not going to be extreme in any way, but it'll be pretty fun just to be able to say splitboard, went splitboarding in San Diego. So we're going to check it out. We're in a cool little area.
I ended up in Cuyamaca, an amazing open space in San Diego's east. A low elevation and known for a sprinkling of snow that might last a few days, but nothing like this. At one time it hosted the San Diego Ski Club and a tow line they had built until they came to their senses and relocated their club to Mammoth Lakes. Some other notable skiers have been Andy Lewicki, and from his video shown here, I assumed I'd be doing something similar, skinning a fire road. But I was definitely in for a surprise.
So we had some truly epic, hard-packed, icy conditions. Might be getting up here a little after the fact. Not your typical lush tour, but it's close to home. So I have to admit, I was not expecting to find anything like this. My expectations were that there was going to be mud on the fire road, not that I'd actually be able to go off trail. It's pretty icy, but this is still way better than I expected. I guess when your expectations are low, there's nowhere to go but up.
Once on the summit, the whole of SoCal was visible, and the impact of the storm was amazing. I couldn't wait to get out and explore even more. And the best part of all this, now I was just riding down to the car. Geared up and ready to dodge the microspikers and their dogs, I headed down for some icy but surprisingly free and open turns.
San Diego!
It wasn't an epic, but it was definitely cool to get on such a rare line. And of course, one of the best parts, I was at home at 10, in time for a morning walk with the wife and kid. And when the barista asked how my morning was, I got to respond that I went snowboarding. And in line with most of my adventures that no one really gets, he just shrugged it off.